Okay, looks like we are live. Hopefully everyone is doing well. Out here in Colorado, it's a little bit snowy. Unbelievable. I can't believe it is snowy. Okay, got some people checking in. Um, let's see. Margot, you're here. Hi, how are you? Yeah, we had some crazy weather today. Woke up to snow, and it's May, and I wanted to kind of get my plants done before I leave for Houston this weekend. Well, that ain't happening. Well, we got a good 2 to 3 inches of snow out here. Now it's all big slushy, icky stuff. Oh, it's 90s here in Georgia. Well, yay, Janet! I'm glad that's good. And Enna from Texas, and Gigi from Georgia. Yeah, I heard it was like wicked hot. My friend Sarah, who runs the Embrilliance group, said it was like very hot in Georgia. Hey, Natalie and Susan. Oh, glad you're all checking in. Yes, you're all ready for this, huh? We're gonna have some fun times today. Oh, you're from Blue Mountains, coffee in hand. Well, I'm not showing my beverage of choice just yet. Feels like 90 in Mississippi, where Carol is, and Miriam is there, and Rhonda from Louisiana. Am I going to see you tomorrow? Or not this morning, next couple days, possibly. Christine, yes, you're going to learn about the Object Pane today. Nancy from Illinois. Tanya from Alabama. I wish it was hot here. Serious, guys. I am so done with winter. So done with it. This is just crazy. It's like it was very nice. I was in Kansas City this past week, and I was there working, or I was walking the show. But I have a lot of friends in the industry, and hopefully everyone can hear me okay. Wendy from Ohio. Hey, glad you're checking in here. I was working with my friend Michelle, who's in the Mettler booth. As you all know, I love Mettler thread, and they're what I use, and I just happened to be helping her out in the booth. And we went walking around afterwards. Oh my God, it was like dying of heat. And then it got rainy. Or was it rainy? No, windy. I don't remember rain. I don't remember. Gosh, it was just like 2 days ago, because I flew home and then drove home late because I got home Friday night and had spent the weekend here. Oh, it's going to be in the 90s in Houston this weekend. Well, I will definitely catch up. Now, hopefully the rain has stopped in Houston, because the last I heard, they were lots of rain. So we were getting snow, they were getting rain. Weird weather. So, hi Kathy, how are you? Glad you could check in. Okay, well, enough about our crazy weather here. It was just so odd walking through slush puddles of snow today. I'm not ready for this. So, today we're going to talk about the Object Pane. Oh, Eric, cloud cover descending on Albuquerque, cool weather and rain. You're getting like the tail end of our storm. Glad you could check in, Eric, see what you're up to. 10% chance of rain, of rain in Houston. Well, we're going to be inside in Houston, so I don't really have to worry too much, except I have to get my steps in. Got to keep walking, get that exercise done. So, 90s. Becky is in Charleston, South Carolina. Gorgeous there. I saw Becky when I was at the South Carolina Everything Embroidery Market. And speaking of which, I'm in Houston this week. So that starts this week. No more spots left. I've already got... I am like so proud of you guys. If there's anyone here going to Houston, I got all the lunch orders in. Woohoo! It saves me a lot of trouble, and no one's going to have to eat peanut butter and jelly or crackers from the front desk. Okay, so that's very good. Applique Getaways coming up. Now, I don't know if you guys saw, but on the Embrilliance website, there's a chance to win free tickets. 2 people are going to win free tickets to the Applique Getaway in Texas. So, if you're thinking about going, first of all, you're going to want to sign up, because first of all, they've announced that Friday, which is the only shopping day, it's a shopping day type thing, but it's 80s themed. 80s. That was my decade, okay? Lisa became Lisa in the 80s. So I don't know if we're going to do a live from there. I don't know if any of you want to see what we're going to have, but I'm going to be dressing up. You might see me in my Madonna outfit. I was a big Madonna fan. Flock of Seagulls, Depeche Mode. You never know. Pretty in Pink. Never know where I can go. But that's what the 80s theme is on. It's Friday. You're going to, oh, seriously. But if you want to win tickets, go to the Embrilliance Facebook page. And the comment on the post that's there, so we're going to draw a winner. I don't know if it's tomorrow or Wednesday. I don't know. It says so right in the post. I forgot by then. But that applique getaway, I have one spot left as of this morning. I didn't check before now, but one spot left for the Essentials class and a couple spots left for the Stitch Artist class. Now, these are the pre-day classes. So if the show opens on Friday, these are the Thursday classes. One spot left. I mean, Houston sold out. Dallas is going to sell out. Texas, I guess Texas likes Embrilliance. So, but then we also have the VIP classes that are going on at the applique getaway, as well as my lecture classes and booth demos. Debbie's coming with me. We're going to be having the booth going non-stop booth demos there. No, Becky, we are not. No, that was not the 80s. Madonna didn't have the Tata cones in the 80s. I was like a virgin. I went to Catholic school. I was such a rebel. Tata cones. Jeez, Becky. No. Anyway, 80s, like, oh. Hey, Lynn, how are you? Bring me back to reality from Queensland. I saw you got your walking today. Good girl. Lynn and I are walking buddies on Facebook, so make sure we get our exercises in. Cheer each other on, because sometimes we don't feel like exercising. So, back to embroidery. After the applique getaway, I am in Denver, the 19th through the 21st of July. So we have those classes going on. Chicago is September 13th to the 15th. And in November, I am in Australia on vacation, but I am working with Echidna. They have something set up for me to do some sort of event while I am there. So other news, I will not be doing a live next Monday, so a week from today, because that's Memorial Day. And have other plans for Memorial Day. So you'll catch me, this is the last one for May. Next one you'll catch me is in June. So you ready to go check out the Object Pane? Reason I wanted to talk about the Object Pane is because when you're looking at the software, your display pane shows you everything in the hoop. It's a very visual. You have your hoop on your screen, and what you put into it is what's going to stitch at the machine. But the Object Pane, that's what controls when things are going to stitch. What stitch first, second, third, what's overlapping, what's hiding something else. All that's controlled by the Object Pane. So you kind of have to work on both at the same time. You have to see on the display pane and work on the Object Pane at the same time, so that things stitch out when you want them to stitch. That should make sense, right? Because if you think about it, the embroidery machine, it's all math based. I know we all hated math in school. Well, I loved math because it was something I really enjoyed. Made sense. 2 + 2 was always 4 until I went to college, and then no, 2 + 2 is macaroni and cheese for some reason. So it took a whole different turn for me. But when you're in a computer is all math based. So what you have to tell it, the software, is where you want things to stitch and when you want them to stitch. They all go hand in hand. Just doesn't go willy-nilly in there. A couple more people checking in. Glad you guys are enjoying these webinars. You know, I enjoy doing them, obviously. I wouldn't do them if I didn't like them. But sometimes I get a little bit silly on them. So let's see if we can switch over. Ooh, I got small, and here's the screen. So we have our hoop on our page. This is where we set up what we want to stitch and where we want it in the hoop. But the display pane shows when we want things to stitch. So let me bring in a couple designs, because looking at a blank sheet doesn't work very well. So I'm going to just go to my open, and I'm going to go to my in the hoop zipper bag. This is probably one of the number one questions or things that we get when you are working on in the hoop projects, and you add a name or a design to an in the hoop project because you want it to stitch in the process during the correct stitching order. But when you do that, sometimes bad things happen, and we're going to talk about those bad things in a minute. So when you're looking at your object pane here, I've opened my design. Now, this is from A Creative Medley. She actually made this, and this is one of her In the Hoop zipper bags. Before you work on any In the Hoop project, if any one of you that have done In the Hoop projects, I assume there's a few of you on here that do them, they're basically just running stitches. So as you click on each color, it doesn't really tell you much. It's just a color break at the machine. It's just a seam. It's a running stitch of stitches. So number one, the rule, the law, is that you read the instructions that come with the In the Hoop project, because otherwise you're going to have no idea what to do. Because this thing puts a zipper in here. Well, there's nothing, the embroidery machine isn't going to say insert zipper. You have to follow step-by-step instructions. And Anne gives fabulous instructions with great pictures. If the place that you purchase your project from doesn't give you instructions, you don't need to be buying their designs anymore, because that takes a lot of work to create those instructions. And if they're not clear or they didn't give them to you, it just makes a lot of work for you. So I go through my instructions and I read, okay, this is my placement line that's on my stabilizer, because she tells me I have to hoop stabilizer. This is my zipper getting put in and my placements. And this is my decorative stitching on the top, and I'm folding fabric and blah, blah, blah. I mean, you have to read the instructions in order to understand that when you get to stitch number 9, this is my decorative stitching on my piece of fabric that's on the bottom half, and this is where I'd want a design or my name to go. So you can't really tell that unless you're really familiar with working on In the Hoop designs, that this is where you'd want to put an embroidery design. Unless you're really familiar, you have to follow the instructions. So step 1, read the instructions before you even load the design to the machine. So it says step number 9 is this decorative stitching. And then once you start going to the other steps, these are like the little placement things for tabs and putting the back fabric on and batting and whatnot. So we don't want to make sure that we put our design in between stitches number 9 and number 10. That's where it has to get inserted. Okay. Well, first of all, let me put it in. I'm going to zoom up my thing so we can't see it. I'm going to merge a design into this. Okay. Hi, Joan. Glad you could check in here. And Debbie, I'm glad you enjoy my Monday nights, my craziness. Okay, let's insert a design into our In the Hoop project. So I'm going to click on the Merge Stitch file. I'm going to browse to wherever the design is, because I have a nice little one somewhere on my screen, possibly. Here we go. I'm going to go over to my desktop. It's in something called Object Pane, because I pulled it out so I wouldn't have to go searching for it. And here's just a little boat, because it's waves. Perfect one is good for boat. And let's go and click import. And it places it in my hoop, and I can say, oh, I'm going to move it over to here, and I kind of want it right there. Okay, so that's where I want it to stitch in the hoop. However, if I look at my screen here, it's going to stitch after the whole thing is completed, because I need to put it in between 9 and 10, because we've already analyzed our stitching order, and that's where it needs to go. So I'm going to, while it's selected here, I'm going to click on my down arrow so that I can see where I am looking at here. And I'm going to click hold so that my boat is highlighted, and I'm going to drag it up into so that on a Mac, you can see there's a green line that goes across, and see the little dot. On Windows, it's a little bit different of an indicator, but you're going to notice that it wants to put it in between 9 and 10. So when I release my mouse button, boom, and zoop this all up, I now have design number 1, which should only have 9 colors in it. So it goes up 1 through 9. Then the little boat, And then design 3 is the rest of them. Okay? So that is how we make sure that this boat, stitches at the right times. Now, when you have an in the hoop design, and there's a wonderful video that talks about this, there's a couple ways of ensuring that remove hidden stitches. Okay, the way remove hidden stitches works is when you have more than one design in your object pane. And right now I have 3 designs in my object pane. And when you have more than one and they're overlapping each other, any stitches that are hidden underneath, so anything from design number 3 that's hidden, so anything from 2 or number 1 that's hidden by number 3 is going to be removed automatically. Now, within the hoop designs, that can be kind of a problem because they're basically just running stitches right on top of each other. So when you have 2 of them, kaboom, kaboom, right on top of each other in the hoop, this one goes away, gets hidden. So there's 2 ways of solving that problem. Well, 2 ways I can think of right off the top of my head. Number 1 is in that video that's on the Embrilliance YouTube channel, Essentials, about how to set each of the running stitches that has a job to be an applique position. Give it a job so that it doesn't do it anymore. The easier way, when you're just wanting to, okay, I'm ready to send this to the machine and just want to stitch this out, I will go to my preferences here at the top where it says when saving, and I will turn off remove hidden stitches so that when I save my stitch file, nothing's going to get removed. The key point is that I need to turn it back on in the next time I save something, because otherwise when you do bring in 2 designs and you want them to remove hidden stitches, you don't want, they're going to say, well, why do I have a bulk? Why do I have lots of stitches impaling each other? And that's because I turned it off. So this is probably one of the easiest things to do, especially when you're working with in the hoop designs that have lots of steps. The other option that you could do, let's see if I click just click OK, get this done, is go through this section, whoopsie, and anything that is going to be my second design, which is my third design, the components of this are running stitches. So anything that is being hidden by this stitch, and there's nothing, because these are all together. These are not being hidden by anything, not hiding anything. This running stitch that goes all the way around, if there's another running stitch in design number 1, I need to change that to be an applique so that it's not going to get removed automatically. So there's a couple more people checked in, but I don't know if I have any questions going on here yet. Any questions? Anybody watching? Like I said, the easiest thing to do is just to remember to turn off your remove hidden stitches from your preferences, and that's under files. When saving, remove hidden stitches, turn it off. If you turn it back on, when you're done, I turn it back on, click apply, click OK, and I'm done. Wonder if we say Brian can add, do you want to turn off remove hidden stitches? Well, that would be a nice feature. I'll tell you that when you do a color sort, and I didn't check any of my colors, but I will tell you that if you choose color sorts from this, if you uncheck for pre-sort, that does turn it off. So it doesn't remove hidden stitches. So, but you have to make sure that you're not combining colors that should be combined. And I didn't check that at all. See, it's already reduced by pages, and that's not a good thing. You gotta make sure you have individual colors. But this is, if you made sure, verify that all your colors were unique, you can always do it by the color sort and uncheck the remove hidden stitches type thing. That is an option. And I'm not sure doing a color sort and having him add an option here that says don't sort colors would make a lot of sense. But this is what I use, this section right here, my color sort, as a what would I call it? A checklist or a verification of what my stitch file is going to look like. So we're not going to do this. We're just going to cancel this guy. But that is one way to do it. But you have to make sure all these individual colors are different colors. Now, if you wanted to add a name to this, where that boat is on the side, when you add your lettering object, click your ABC. You're going to move it into place so it's right where you want it. And then do the same thing. Click, hold, drag, and drop it. And just make sure you don't drag it someplace it's not supposed to go. Okay, so I'm going to put it like I just did. See, I put it inside the boat. Not a good idea. Sometimes, edit, undo. An easier way of doing this, and this is what you'll see me doing a lot in my videos that because it's hard to visualize a drag and drop. If you right click on this and say move earlier, it will move the entire design one design earlier. So that allows you to keep that all saved together. Okay. So our object pane now actually has 4 designs. When you have multiple designs in your object pane, that's where you need to pay attention, is remove hidden stitches, possibly going to cause a problem. It might not, but if you only have one design, like only a 1 up here, nothing else, and you have a problem at the machine, something got removed, that had nothing to do with remove hidden stitches. Okay, remove hidden stitches only happens when you have multiple designs in your object pane that could be overlapping each other. Hopefully that makes sense. Now, for everyone that's joining in a little bit late, just remember you can watch this entire video from the beginning as soon as I'm done. It's going to be available to watch in live. The applique class in June is, applique getaway is in Dallas or Irving, Texas. So there's a whole bunch of information on my website, which is sew-bubbles.com, and you can click on education. Let me see if I can click this up. Command C. Sue, if you're here, I am doing the Sue trick. I'm pasting the link in the comments so that you can actually see where I'm going to be. Ha ha ha. Very good. Okay, so let me talk to, that is just basically how you organize or make sure your order is correct in the object pane. Couple other things to pay attention in the object pane are these buttons here at the top. The first one, that is my absolute favorite, is a select all. Okay, select all. Basically, click this button, everything's selected at one time. That's wicked cool. That's easier than going up to File or Edit. I guess it's Edit and choosing Select All or Command A. Sometimes you got your mouse right handy right here. Just click on this very first one so that you are going Select All. Yes, Sue, that is why your teddies sometimes only sew odd stitches on the first run, because you have multiple designs that are overlapping each other, and one of them is especially within the hoop designs, because if the only way that remove hidden stitches works is that the stitches are one right on top of each other. So a clumpy thing would be formed. It's saving you that issue. It's making sure that doesn't happen to you. So the buttons here at the top, the first one is Select All. That's absolutely fabulous because it just selects everything. And if you have a whole bunch of stuff, or this happens to me a lot, and sometimes there's our people that don't understand that your hoop shows you what is going to fit inside your hoop. So this is just a guide. This has nothing to do with the program. But if you have something that's outside the hoop, like I'm looking at my hoop here, and you see how my design size is red, that means I have something else. So if I go to Select All, I can see, wow, look at that dashed line down there. It's going to my Select All box. It's showing me I have stuff out here, which means it's not going to show up in I can't save this design for my 5x7 hoop because the machine is going to say this is not, you think whatever's on your screen has to be stitchable. So don't stick stuff out here. I know in a lot of other programs, you can have like the silhouette software. You throw it outside your cutting area and it's not going to cut. Well, embroidery software, if it's on your display page, it stitches, it has to be all calculated with compensation and stabilization, and everything is important. So you just can't have random stuff all over the place on the outside. That hoop is just a guide. So we want to make sure that if you have one quick way of noticing that you have something outside your hoop is just go right up here, select all. You can say, ooh, I got something weird out here. So you can either move it back in where it needs to or hit the delete key to get rid of it so that you're not causing any problems. Okay. I'm just reading the notes real quick. Yes, it is. I was reading Barbara's comment about it's just when when you're combining designs or you're adding names or words or stuff to existing designs, the remove hidden stitches, it only works is if you have multiple designs in your object pane. So if you don't have to worry about it. But one of the things I check when I go through my stitching out checklist is, do I have multiple designs in that object pane? And if I do, is remove hidden stitches going to cause a problem? Hopefully that makes sense to you guys. So select all. That's wicked cool. Now, sometimes you have, let's go and open a different design because I'm kind of getting tired of looking at this one. Don't save. Boom. Boom. Just going to give you guys some variety so the screen looks a little different. Okay. Open. Here is a carousel frame that I created just from a little flower that I had and a monogram that I want to put inside the frame. Now, obviously, this has to go on top of this. And when I click off of it, I can see that the letters are kind of a little bit too big for this frame. And if you notice in my object pane here, let me see if I can make this a little bit smaller here. Do you see I have, because I did the carousel using the enthusiast function, and I have a whole bunch of designs, and then I add my lettering at the bottom. These are not grouped, they're individual designs, so they're easily able to be moved by accident. Okay? So, these buttons here at the top can help a lot of things, because what I mean by move by accident, if I accidentally click on this guy and I move him, I try to move him, well, let's move him. See, I can move him out of the way. And when you have a carousel, you don't really want to do that because now I just whacked my whole thing. It just I have a nice ugly design right now. So we're going to undo this first. So I want to select all of those flowers in my wreath and group them together so that I don't accidentally make a mess, okay? If I select all right now, because I've already added my monogram, I get the whole shebang. I only want the flowers in the wreath, okay? I only want that wreath design. So I can go through and try to, in this particular design, it's not that hard. I select the first one, hold the shift key down, grab the last one, it'll select them all. Great. But I'm going to show you a trick because this is one of the buttons that's on the object pane. And once you get used to using buttons, there will be a time where it will be very beneficial that you want to do this. So I'm going to select my lettering object and go to the next button that is to the right, and it says reverse select, which means when I click that button, it's going to unselect what I have selected and select everything else. You see how it did that nice and neat. Nothing was moved and nothing was mucked up. Sometimes it makes a mess and you just don't want to make a mess. So the way it works again, it's a reverse selection. So you select what you don't want to be selected, go up here to the second button and say reverse selection. Now you have everything selected. I can go up to my edit menu where it says group. And now all those items are grouped together in my display pane so that why was my mouse going crazy here? If I click on anything on my display pane there, it grabs them all. Now it doesn't grab the center monogram part. It only grabs what I grouped together. So if you wanted to move this for some reason, it's all selected together, nice and neatly. Okay, so that's that reverse selection thing. Okay, that's what you reverse select and then I group together. That's probably the most handy time I use that reverse thing. So the first button is select all. The second button is reverse selection. So you click on something and then it unselects everything that is there. Okay, it unselects what you have selected and selects the rest of it. Sorry, my little alarm came on to tell me that it was 6:30. So I'm on track of where I wanted to be. So group, just to let you know, only affects how things are grouped in the display pane. I can still select individual flowers in my object pane, but if I go into my display pane and click on any of those grouped objects, the whole thing is selected. That's the only thing that group does. It makes it easy so you can move stuff around, group it together in your object pane. Okay, I do this a lot. If you watch my video on the intertwined monograms, on how you group things together so that you want to combine letters and you're merging in things and you don't want them to move. Once you get those two letters exactly where you want, you group them so that they only move as a solid unit. Okay, so that's what the group does. Now, if you have this, okay, so use a stitch similar, then color change and cut stitches once and change. No, you can't do that. Once you color the stitch simulator, that's a whole other class. We'll talk about that. That's not what this is. But yeah, stitch simulator, color changes, cut stitches. You can't do anything else once you do that. Okay. Now, one of the things, once I have something, yes, reverse select is very useful, especially now that you know it exists. It was a nice button there before, but if you didn't know it existed, you'll find a use for it, and now, poof, it'll be great. Okay, the next three buttons are lock, lock and hide, and unlock. Okay? So, the lock, say you're working on this coaster and you don't want to move it anymore. And why that could be crazy is because, or why that's an issue is, say we have this selected and you're like, oh, I want to move this monogram. Well, you see, I didn't want to move the frame. The frame was where it was supposed to be. I wanted to move the monogram, but I wasn't careful where I put my mouse. So if I have my monogram frame selected and I click on the lock button here, you see, first of all, it puts all the little locky things on it. And now I can't click on this. I can try and click on anything in this flower. I can't move this. It is locked. But I can move my little monogrammy thing here. Okay? So that lock button is fabulous because once you have something in a specific place, you don't want to have to go oops and undo and then move it back again. You just want to have it where it's supposed to be. So now I can take my monogram, I can make it smaller by holding down my shift key and resizing and placing my monogram where it needs to be in my frame and not worry about accidentally being where it's not supposed to be, not accidentally moving something. Now, the next button, when you have something selected and you go up to this object pane here, to the right, the next button says lock and hide. If you're doing that intertwined monogram, this is, that's a great place to use this, because what it does is you have your something that is selected. Not only is it going to lock it in place, but it hides it. So you see it has a nice little white lock on it, so that when it's no longer selected, you can't see it. So this is very handy if you have lots of things on your screen and you're trying to move things around and you just get confused and you go squirrel and you get discombobulated and focused on something else. It doesn't remove it so you can't see it. It's still there, but you just can't see it unless you select it in the object pane. And then, of course, the last one is the unlock button. So when you click on the unlock button, it now shows it back up. When you have your frame selected, whoops, I got to go and hit select all, which is all these things, and unlock it. Now, everything is unlocked. Everything is grouped still. We're good to go. Hopefully those all make sense to you. Barb, you always forget about that button. Well, that was either the reverse one, the lock button, or the lock and hide button. I forget about these all the time up here as well. They're handy shortcuts, but if you sometimes I find myself saying, oh, I wish I could just hide this. It's where I want it. I don't want it to move, but I don't want to see it. And that's a great time when you want to use the lock and hide. Your working file, the stitches are still there. So when you save your stitch file, no matter what you have, locked or hide or whatever, it's still going to be there in your stitch file. This only really affects your working file and what is able to be touched, moved, whatever in your display pane here. The reverse button. Yes, the reverse button's an easy one to forget. It really is. So, the other thing, actually, those are what I really want to talk about with the object pane, because even though it's just very simple stuff, it's things that we always forget and we don't pay attention to, and they can make our life so much easier as if we remembered that they were there. Because it's always that time where you wish you had the perfect tool to do the job at hand. And this is what allows you to do that. So let me see if I can if there's any other questions here. Move my mouse over to this side. Anybody else have any questions about what we were talking about with the object pane? Now, what I've showed you here, this is good with all the platforms. So it doesn't matter if you have Stitch Artist or Essentials or Express. Well, Express just has the object pane, but it doesn't have a lot of the other functions. So remove hidden stitches doesn't work because there's nothing to remove. But the whole platform, that's what these object pane buttons have to do with. They control the order of your stitching in your design that you're digitizing, you're editing, you're customizing, whatever it is that you're doing to them. That object pane is very powerful. This tells you the when things are stitching out. This is the whole stitching order. And a lot of times it's almost like a manual sewing stitch simulator, because I prefer to go through my design one color at a time, one block at a time, it's an easier way for me to see one little grouping at a time. Otherwise, you can always go to the sew simulator and watch it stitch out. So that's always an option type thing, but there's always more than one way to do something. So, Pam, I'm glad you did watch. Roberta, I appreciate learning more about the buttons. Now you need to remember to use them. Yes, yes, yes. Is there a way to make the panel larger to read? You can always expand the size of your panel, but the size of the text here, that's determined by your operating system. So that there's nothing in the software that you can make the size of text better, but you can, by putting your mouse cursor on the divider bar in between the panes, you can make them bigger or wider. Or as you saw, I made my other pane really small. Just remember that if you happen to close something or do something bad and especially on Windows, you Windows folks likes to close all those panes all the time because there's a little X here in the corner that lets you do that. But under your view menu on Windows, it's called Reset Toolbars and Panes or something. Just make sure if you've done something and you're missing a pane, that's how you get it back. There's a little reset option and it just puts them all back the way that they were to begin with. So that works out. So, okay, guys. Well, that's all I had for today. It's snowing again. It had stopped for a while. I was happy, and now it's coming down again. That's like there's bright green grass because we had rain and snow a few weeks ago, and all the grass popped up, and now I have bright green grass coming through on my snow. Great. Kathy, I know. I can't understand how people that can embroider without software. Some people do get a machine, though, that has so much onboard capability that they get so focused on learning how to use that capability that learning something else is just completely overwhelming. I get that. However, I think everyone should I think all machines, I can't learn all that stuff on the machine. I'd rather do it in software because too many oopses have happened to me at the machine. I can't remember how to work it out. Sometimes I have difficulty placing a design where I want it within another. Why would that be? Well, it probably has to do with how you're dragging. If you say I wanted to drag this flower inside another flower, I always grab the design by the number and I drag it up and put my mouse cursor. I pay attention to where your mouse cursor is. That is a key for everything, because it's not, it has it's important. The point of your mouse cursor is the selector point. It's not the whole mouse. It's not like a whole hand. It's just the point. So pay attention to where that point of your cursor is, and don't be trying to put it on the too far to the left or too far to the right. I like to put it exactly where I want it. So, and I don't release it until I see that it's going where it's supposed to go. If I put it someplace I didn't want it, I just right away go to undo and I try again. Okay, you'll get the hang of it, because sometimes you have a sensitive mouse cursor. Sometimes you have, on your Windows operating system, you can have clicking speeds, and your mouse point may be a pinpoint, like a pen point, or it could be a fat point. It could be, so it's less sensitive, so it's just going to plop it willy-nilly. So you have to get used to what your computer and your settings are, but once you figure it out, it's like it'll just go where it is. Let's see, Betty. Hey, Betty, how are you? Long time no see. Long time since we were in Florida. I wish it was Florida now. Snowfall. Oh, snowfall in Cheyenne. Yeah. Well, Nancy, I'm glad you learned something in our Monday nights, our Monday night jams, after hours type thing. If you haven't noticed, I have updated my YouTube channel. I put a blog post on my website, so-bubbles.com, and my blog's listed there, which has a link to all the previous ones. I've slowly been uploading them to a playlist on my YouTube channel, so that it can go to, it's easier to find videos on YouTube than it is on Facebook. It's hard to find stuff on Facebook, but I will tell you, it depends. I'm trying to get them up there. It's just that these are huge files, so I have a slow internet connection. So most of them are up there now. I think I have 2 left, plus this one, and then you can find them. They're in a playlist on my YouTube channel, which you get from my website, and the playlist, I think, called Facebook Lives or something, and you can scroll through the dates. I've tried to add descriptions as to what each one was. Unfortunately, some of them I forgot what we were talking about, and I wasn't very good at writing the description in the first place. So, it is what it is, but you can always fast forward and rewind. If you remember me saying something, it's in there somewhere. Unfortunately, when they're short videos, that's why I really like making short videos, because they're only 2, 4, 5 minutes. They're easy. You can watch the whole thing. Put your hands on your lap and watch the whole thing. But here we're going on, 43 minutes, trying to find that one snippet of information. Might be a little difficult to find, but they're there. So in case anyone missed it, or can't find it on YouTube, or wants to just have me talking to them in the background. Becky wants me to make some snow cream. I don't know. It's this wet, sloppy, gross. I don't want to go outside. I'm going to stay in and catch up on my videos. Since I was at Quilt Market last week, I have some TV programs that my husband recorded for me. So I'm going to check on that. Excellent. Oh, I'm glad that you enjoy and have Tuesday morning coffee with me. We have fun. That's what this is all about. So as I said, I won't be here next Monday, but the following Monday after that, I'll post a link just like I have with these, so that you could get a reminder, and then hopefully I'll show up in your feed. I had a crazy thing, and just have to, I need to find a Facebook guru, because all the ones I asked at Quilt Market had no clue what happened. But Sherilyn, I didn't see her check in here. I was at Quilt Market, and they had this great display that was of the quilts. And I was walking through and I just did a impromptu live. And I said, oh, I'm just going to show you guys the quilts. And all of a sudden, all these schmucks started coming in on my Facebook Live and asking where I was. They had nothing to do with quilting, nothing to do with embroidery. They're making fun of Kansas City. I was there being obnoxious, so I just had to kill it and delete it, and I was very upset. So at least with these, we aren't getting any schmucks on here. We're getting people that want to be here. You get the little reminder. It shows up in your news feed, and you can join us, have fun, or watch later when you have some free time. So, I've got to pack. I got myself a new suitcase. So I've got to pack all my samples for Houston. And, maybe we'll do an impromptu live there if I can figure out what possessed my phone for that. So could you give my website again? Follow my blog. It's so-bubbles.com. You should have a page right here. But also, any of you, I am an affiliate for, let's see, here's Command C. This is Sue's tip. She told me how to do this. Command V. The first one is my website, that link that has handouts from the class I did at Sew Expo. It also contains my affiliate link. So if any of you are interested in getting the Embrilliance software and you find my education helpful, you don't pay anymore. You might get a discount. But I may make a small commission off of it, and that's what encourages me to do these things. So before I forget, that's that. I also have a direct link to my YouTube channel. Command C and paste it here. Command V, boom. That should be my link to my YouTube channel directly. So you can subscribe to that and get the information. Also, all of you that are drinking coffee with me in Australia, don't forget, I am going to be there in November this year. Command C, boom. Command V. Sue, I love you. You show me how to do this. She's the one that taught me I could copy and paste and put comments in my own feed. Anyway, if you're interested in seeing me in Australia while I'm there, Echidna Sewing Products, they're the ones that are sponsoring me, organizing the class. You'll want to make sure you sign up because I'm pretty sure it's going to sell out because I'm going there on vacation. Normally, many of you that know me from doing Australia road trips, multiple locations driving up the coast. And my husband said, no, we're not doing that this time. So he's coming with me. We're going to see your beautiful country. He's going to take photographs. And for those of you that were commenting on my husband's pictures, oh my goodness gracious, you absolutely make his day. He loves to take photographs and post them. And it's my tribe that is you guys are awesome because we always say so much to each other about, we're always congratulatory and, oh my God, that's gorgeous. And photographers, I guess they really aren't like that. So you're making my husband's day by telling him how his photos are very nice. But that's what we're going to Australia for, so he can take some pictures on our vacation. Anyway, okay, guys, I've put all the links up there. Hopefully you got it. I'm glad that this was helpful. I will see you online sporadically. Maybe I'll do a live when I'm in Houston. And other than that, I can't schedule it until a week before at least. So, but we'll do it next month, the Monday after Memorial Day. So have a wonderful, wonderful week. If you're coming to Houston, can't wait to see you. And I will catch you online later. Oh, geez. Take care, guys. Bye.